are we doing?
The final time.
Like, I think we'd been finishing up with Goldie. Is that right? I don't know. I really pay virtually no attention now that I don't have to be worrying about identities. Now that in theory I know who everybody is, I've stopped paying attention completely. The kitty's fascinated with their own toe beans. I suppose I should probably pull up chat and things too. On headphones and all that good stuff that comes along with it being, I almost said Thursday. Jesus Christ, my brain's broken.
No, it's Thursday, clearly.
No, it's not. You'd be reading a recap for the next 15 to 20 minutes if it were.
Not necessarily. With as cursed as BG3 is these days.
Well. Okay.
I see that red hill once again. You know, the red one. The red memory. I dive deeper into her memory and I realize I'm seeing it for the last time. It's a memory of a certain night that I've seen many times already. After becoming king and killing her will so that she could devote herself to the will of her nation, her days were now marked by the resentment of her trusted knights. Every time she won a battle, she was made to fight more battles she didn't want. She continued to hide her sex, which heaped more suspicion onto her. All that awaited the isolated girl was rebellion at the hands of her own son. A young knight took over the nation while the king was away on an expedition. The knight's name was Mordred, Knight of Treachery. The knight, son of Artoria's older sister Morgan, was in fact the king of Knight's own son. True story. That's actual Arthurian legend. Artoria was never able to have a child as a woman. But Mordred had her blood coursing through his veins. I'm not clear what happened to make this possible, but Artoria's older sister, Morgan, loathed her for becoming king. Mordred was created as a clone and served the king without knowing who his father was. Mordred sought an opportunity to take the throne for himself, ultimately going so far as to organize a revolt. That revolt would end in what later became known as the Battle of Camlan. The final battle and the end of King Arthur, also the location of Artorias' throne. King Arthur learned of Mordred's betrayal during her expedition and returned with her weary army to invade her own lands.
You know, you say the name Artorias, and now literally all I'm hearing is the chanting of Shepherd Artorias. In the capital where Velvet's just super angry and mad at the world. Which is literally just bouncing around in my head on repeat now, so thank you for that. Thank you for mentioning that douche.
No, you're welcome. He was a good guy until his wife and child got murdered.
Yeah, and then decided to make his sister-in-law into a cornerstone of his plan for revenge on the universe.
Well, yeah, he went crazy. She defeated many of the knights who used to serve her, like Lancelot, and also Lancelot. She attacked the land she once defended. Those few knights who remained loyal to her died. The only two left standing in the end were the king and her son, Mordred. The combat between the two of them ended in the king's victory. But the king was not unharmed. Mordred was bound by a powerful curse and swung his sword even after dying, inflicting a fatal wound on the king. And so that battle ended, with Mordred being such a badass that he got killed, got up, and avenged himself.
Like you do.
As you do. How many people can say they did that? To my knowledge, Mordred and Kamina. It was the end of her, the king once known as the King of Knights. Must have been heart-wrenching. Nearly read that as heartwarming. Oh, how heartwarming, the king dying. Yay!
I'm kind of surprised I haven't seen more in chat. It makes the little paranoid bit of my brain go, what's wrong with stream? What's not working? Chat, validation, please.
No, give her nothing. Give her nothing to work with.
Look, it's called paranoia, and it's a very real thing.
No, it's not. It's fake.
Look, we've had it happen before where stream hasn't been working the way we thought it was, and gotten like 15 to 20 minutes into something before anyone bothered to tell us, so...
Yeah, but you wouldn't have gotten cat stuff if your stream hadn't started.
Generally, no, but Bio's made exceptions before. Also, I did press the A button.
There's like a quarter second of stream delay or something, you know. It's not bad. Probably more like a second, really. Because I've got it on ultra low. Like, I've got it as low as you can put it. None of the battles that were fought were painless because they were battles and, you know, you kind of get injured.
People get hurt in battles and wars, yes.
Yeah. Every one of the 12 battles she fought was intense, but this final one was her greatest loss in that she died.
And killed her own son.
She returned to her homeland only to have to destroy her own army. Well, it wasn't hers at the time. She was forced to punish the knights who once served her, and had to watch those knights who remained loyal to her die. And in the end, she had to kill her own son. I have no idea what was going through her head in that moment.
No, but I'm sure you're going to try and project.
Probably something along the lines of, God damn, somebody else should have been king. But I had to pray. I had to pray for the lone knight who tried to remain king until the very end. I pray that this dream of her just before her death is the kind of dream a girl named Artoria would want to see.
Why?
I really hope that her killing her son was
It's
exactly
the kind of thing she
dream
wants to go back
wants.
and revisit,
Yeah.
Like, why? Why would that be a thing she'd want to revisit? You asshole.
You know that show, I Dream of Jeannie? What about I Dream of Killing My Son?
Fuck, he's alive.
How you doing after having been cut in half again? I opened my eyes. I don't know when I got back, but I'm in my room, lying on my futon.
Could you at least lose a limb permanently or something, you asshole?
Wrong route.
Like, could you please have some sort of long-term consequence for your own stupidity?
Wrong route.
ああ、気がついたのですね。 シロ。
セイバー、俺はどうして？
You walked.
あれから今まで眠っていたのです。体の方はほぼ完治していますから、心配には及びません。
You're mostly healed now. You got cut in half again, but you're fine.
そうか。それはいいけど。
But what about Saber, though? She used Excalibur. She must be running low on magical energy, since she probably healed herself, too.
セイバー、ずっと俺の手当てを。
手当てといっても、汗を拭く程度です。私はリンのように、人の傷を見ることはできませんから。
It's not nice to call Reen a wound like that.
バカ、そんなことしなくていいんだ。今は俺よりセイバーの方が辛いだろう。
そのようなことはありません。シローに比べれば、私は軽傷です。
In this one instance, I actually agree. She got knocked around a little bit.
Yeah.
You got cut in half.
She got beat up a bit. You got nearly cut clean in two.
しかし、今のは聞き捨てなりませんね。いくら傷が塞がったと言っても、シローは死んでもおかしくない傷だったのです。今は自分の体を案じてください。
Saber reaches for a basin of water that sits beside her.
Still ridiculously paranoid about how little interaction chat's seeing.
She draws a towel out of it and wrings it before wiping me off with the cool water.
That... Okay. Brain, please cooperate. Might have died, Artoria.
Honestly, what she does mostly just embarrasses me.
シロー、傷が痛むのですか？また熱が出てきたようですが。
Yeah, that's not a fever, that's hormones.
熱なんか出てない。いや、そうじゃなくて。いいからセイバーも休んでくれ。今は元気かもしれないけど、エクスカリバーを使ったんだ。セイバーの方こそ休んでなくちゃダメじゃないか。
Yeah, but she has like
そんなんじゃま
a
た倒れち
magical
まうだろ
energy source this time.
まあ、それはそうなのです
So
が、
it's not like as bad as it was.
今は私の方が元気ですから。マスターの傷が癒えるまで、
それはもっともな話だよな。
Well, she's got me there. When she says it like that, I can't really do anything but agree.
分かったよ。俺もしっかりと休むから、セイバーもちゃんと休んでくれ。セイバーが休んでくれないと、俺も落ち着いて眠れない。
それはそうですね。私とて睡眠を取らねばならぬ身ですから。
Saber nods in agreement, then wrings the towel and hangs it over the edge of the basin. I do my best to swallow my embarrassment as I watch Saber tend to me.
それでは、私も先に休ませていただきます。御身、くれぐれもお大事に、シロ。
ああ。
おやすみなさい。言いそびれましたが、礼を言います、シロ。あなたが助かって、本当によかった。
Thank you for not dying. Goodbye. There, under the moonlight, I see Saber smile.
You're inside your house. How much moonlight are you getting?
Under the moonlight. He's got a skylight in his room, clearly. Her smile seems fragile. Maybe because of the pale moonlight. Before I get a good look, the door closes. When Saber disappears into her room, I'm stricken by a sudden sense of relief, or maybe loneliness? I don't really know the difference. I regret not telling her to stay here and just take my futon while I use my arm as a pillow, but that would be too much for her. Besides, if we did that, it'd remind me of that night with
And
the
the
immaculately folded
The
shirts.
pristinely folded shirt.
I shake off the image that works its way into my mind.
Of all of the shirts.
So many shirts. Too many things have happened today. It feels like an entire week has gone by just today. My date with Saber was more challenging than fun. Then we got in an argument and I left, abandoning her. Then she stood there just staring at the horizon for like 5 hours straight. And then... and then that shit happened.
And then oops.
And then Excaliblast met Aya.
And Scalablast lost.
Excaliblast lost quite badly, yes. No, I shouldn't think of that until I've completely recovered. Not only do we have to deal with Gilgamesh, but we also need to defeat Lancer and whoever his master is. We need to rest, recover, and regroup so we can be at our best, or else we don't have a chance at winning. I don't know what you're talking about. They didn't... There were no invisible guns. There was no... In another few hours, the sun will rise. Like... Nothing like that. It wasn't anywhere near 4Kids level. Stop, or we'll shoot you with our invisible guns. That was one of the best ones. Those Duelist Kingdom, the random Pegasus guys coming up on Kaiba like just clearly supposed to be holding guns and just kind of half finger pointing at him. And he's like, "Oh shit, let me jump out a window." No, it wasn't even finger guns. They didn't even like make it finger guns. They just edited the gun out and left everything else the same.
No, but they should have. It would have been so much funnier.
Stop, or we'll shoot you with our finger guns. Bang! Bang, bang! Bang, 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 bang!
And then to still have the reaction of dive out window to avoid
the
finger guns.
Yeah. No, although the one with the sun will rise, I have no idea why they felt the need to censor that. In the original, Taya just had to go to the bathroom. She just needed a toilet.
Well,
And apparently a girl needing to pee needed to be censored.
well, yes. Women aren't allowed bodily functions.
In another few hours, the sun will rise.
Yeah, women aren't allowed to have bodily functions, Inu. You should know this by now. We have to be perfect and controlled at all times, or everything falls apart.
That's true. That's true. So could you all stop being controlled all the time so that the current government structure could fall apart? That would be great. Thanks. Please get on that.
I wish it were that simple.
You just said it was.
I don't control...
You said
No.
everything.
I do not control every woman.
Yes, you
by
do.
Your...
Figure it
no,
out.
I don't. But by your standard, I would have to.
Figure
to
it
be
out.
able to fix that. I do not magically have the ability to control every woman on the face of planet Earth.
Well, just figure it out. Family style.
I miss that game show.
Mr. Pegasus would like to have a few words with you. He'll never take me alive. Jumps out a fucking window. Yeah. This only happened a few hours ago. I think Saber said something about me being her sheath.
Which, isn't usually how that works.
Right, yeah, that's a little bit backwards. At the time, I couldn't ask what she meant. I was a wreck and near to passing out. Maybe Artori is just really into, like, pegging people.
I mean, she, as I understand it, did have the assistance of a dick wizard
Good old
once upon a time.
Good old
so...
Merlin. I can't fall asleep. I just woke up in Saber's dream. Her face, resolute even on the brink of death, overlaps with the sight of Saber tending to me. Then I hear her voice saying goodnight. The image of her frail profile and her smile is burned into my mind.
Oh no! Are we about to have another one of those the date isn't what the date should actually be situations based off what we're being told? Because it was already super late when they got into their fight with
It was like
Goldie.
It was like 10 o'clock.
So
it's probably technically the following morning, but given how most people will continue to just use goodnight up until the point where they actually go to bed.
But that's inaccurate.
Not a smile I saw in any of my dreams of her life. She says it makes her happier when she sees me smile. That just drives me nuts. Because I don't know how to smile. I'm not sad, just exasperated. I don't know why it annoys me so much, I actually find myself getting angry. I punch my futon. Fuck you, futon! You go to hell! I desire to lash out in the face of this frustration. it just completely overwhelms me. Fuck the futon. Sorry, my futon offended me and I had to punch it. A concerned voice drifts in from the other side of the closed door.
Yeah, maybe if you want her to actually get some sleep, stop making so much noise literally one room over.
I have no mouth and I must punch futon. My breathing is heavy, so she must think I'm having trouble sleeping.
いや、大丈夫。それよりも、
Because it's been 2 fucking seconds! I really dislike this man.
Why are you still awake? You went over there 2 minutes ago. You should be sleeping by now.
はい。ですが、本当にシロの方はよろしいのですか？まだ苦しいのでしたら、そちらに行きますが。
Maybe I should go over... No, that's even worse. All the pent-up feelings I've been barely holding back will come rushing to the forefront if I see Saber now.
Saber, 少しだけ話いいか?
Why aren't you sleeping? Let me talk.
Yeah. Why aren't you sleeping? Let's talk.
Go to bed, but first, let's have like a 2-hour-long conversation. You know.
はい。このままでよろしければ。
We start talking through the sliding door. Since I can't actually see her, I think back on that smile, the last expression I saw on her face. She looked so happy. And when I think of it, I find myself getting more frustrated rather than less. I don't know why I'm getting so warm.
Biology.
Hormones. You forgot to turn off the space heater. But I still need to talk to Saber. I have to tell her that even if I don't have the right answer, she's still wrong.
I hate him so much. So very much. Fuck you, Shiro Emiya.
Hey, Saber, have you considered
that
you're incorrect? I'm sorry? About what? Everything. Life. Wanting to not exist anymore.
seriously, the number of times I'd have put down this game and not come back to it if we weren't playing it for a stream. Like, this would be another one of those lines where I get to this and go, nope, Alt F4, goodbye.
The Fate route is... Fate route Shiro is maddening. My voice trembles. My tongue feels heavy in my mouth. Once I say it, I won't be able to take it back. I'm fully aware of that.
もういい。いいから。お前は自分のために笑わないと。
Yeah, Shiro is so much better with Reen. Mostly because Reen, unlike Artoria, is not content to just sit there and take his shit. Like, Reen claps back and puts Shiro in his damn place.
As well she should.
And then they have a super good dynamic. Because they both respect each other and fucking work together instead of Shiro being a fucking overbearing dickhead.
Like, more than anything, that's one of the things that pisses me off so much about him in this, is they treat him like a Gary Stu, but one, he's wrong about 98.8% of things, and two, literally no one calls him on it, ever. And that's infuriating.
Well, Taiga used to call him on his shit, but then she went to the Turbo Hospital. And Artoria is too invested in this whole master-servant relationship thing to call out her master on bullcrap when she'd rather just deal with it to get the war over with. So, you know, it's really Artoria's complacence is part of the issue.
Oh, I'm not denying that. But it just...
They're not a good match, and everybody agrees with this, except for Nasu, who keeps insisting that Saber Shiro is canon, and then keeps writing more Shiro Reen content instead.
So here's my big thing. And I'm about to really royally offend a bunch of people. And I'm not sorry. I honestly think the writing for Shiro in this route is as bad, if not worse, than the writing for Tosh in Dragon Age Valgard.
I don't know who that is or what that means.
The chat will have very strong feelings about me saying that. Tosh is the worst written character in Valgard. They, technically. But it keeps fucking with my brain because I'm on my second playthrough and I'm steering away from the they them pronouns just because I want to see how it changes the story. But their entire personal quest is literally just about them insisting people use they them pronouns for them instead of she her.
Yeah,
And
even chat doesn't know what the hell you're talking about.
yeah. Their quest line is one of the most poorly written things I've ever seen in a video game. And the character, like, it'd be redeemable if there was anything to like about the character. Unfortunately, there really isn't, because they make the non-binary status the only interesting thing about that character.
Ah yes, the wonderful writing trope of let's just make this character completely one-dimensional.
And not even do it well, because...
Well, one-dimensional characters cannot be written well. It's not possible.
Because they then make Tosh unrepentant in refusing to acknowledge anyone else's preferences at any point ever.
Well, that would make them multidimensional.
And
You cannot write a one-dimensional character that agrees with other people's viewpoints. They stop being one-dimensional at that point.
so, basically what I'm saying here is that the fixed, unrepentant mindset for Shiro, the fact that they don't listen to anyone ever, that they hear absolutely nothing that's being said to them and insist that they're right, infuriates me, and it always does in games. There should be an option to push back. And I think because BioWare didn't give an option to do that with Tosh and Valgard, and you don't get the ability to clap back here either, it's incredibly frustrating to me as someone that does a lot of writing of my own.
Oh yeah.
That there isn't an option to push back.
I mean, you're not alone in that. Nobody likes Fate Route Shiro. Fate Route Shiro is generally very disliked. But UBW Shiro is a completely different character.
That's my issue with this franchise, though, is that if this is the first exposure you're intended to get, why the fuck would anyone play any other routes after dealing with this bullshit?
Green.
So, here's the thing, I like Reen, and even I don't think that's a good explanation at this point. Like, he royally pisses me off to the point that, like I said, if we weren't sitting here playing this and I didn't know for a fact you'd make me finish it regardless, I'd have rage quit this game weeks ago.
It's the Reen and Archer dynamic, is what it is, because you get way more Reen and Archer in UBW, and then you get a Shiro that's not a complete tool bag. And then, heavens feel, you get Shiro just taking every ideal you've known him to have the entire game and tossing all of them out the window.
But chat, like, I believe you when you say it gets better, especially because Inu's god sister has also told me, and her worldviews and mine are very similar, that he's less this in other routes.
He's like none this in other routes.
I just don't understand why people would even give him that second chance at this point.
Some unknown force forces the words from me. Yeah, it was Willow pressing the A button.
そんなどうして
Doshite. Fate Route's supposed to be an introduction to the world setting and characters, but it's just not done well. No, it's not. You've got the Fate Route, the good route, and then Heaven's Feel. There shouldn't even be a question. I'll just keep repeating myself until you realize it.
セイバー、もう十分なんじゃないのか。お前は頑張ったんだろう。一人で戦い抜いたんだろう。なら、セイバーが幸せにならないなんて嘘だ。
You mean like finally being able to rest and be done?
Like, if you could just stop there, right? Just be like, your life would be just a tragedy if you didn't have some happiness at the end of it.
Right, but for her...
That's a sentiment that's cool, right? Like, hey...
But for her, in her mentality, being done is the happiness at the end of it. Like...
お前は立派に誓いを果たした。なら、このままアルトリアに戻ってもいいはずだ。
何を言うかと思えば、まだそんなことを言うのですか、あなたは。
Yes, because he's convinced, and unfortunately this is the route where he does, that Stockholm Syndrome will eventually convince you that he's right.
ずっと言い続ける。そんなの惚れちまったんだから仕方ないだろう。だからセイバーは、いや、お前はアルトリアに。
There's a flaw in your reasoning here, Shiro. And it's a pretty substantial one. See, the person you fell in love with...
is also the person that did all of those things.
Right. So if she goes back to being the 16-year-old girl that she was when she picked up the sword, you don't know her anymore. That's not the person you know. I suppressed the sudden surge of emotion. I'm on the verge of breaking down. If only Saber would just say something. Even a single word.
シロ、私を困らせないでほしい。そのようなことを言われても、私は。
Shiro is basically trying to steal, one of the stronger heroic spirits from the Throne of Heroes here. Which, I'm pretty sure even if Artoria wanted to go along with him, I don't think the world would let that happen. Like, Alaya is not gonna give up the heroic spirit they've been promised. That's not gonna happen. There would be some intervention on the part of the planet at that point. Her answer is unchanged. My heart aches from her determination.
シロは私の過去を知って、私の中に何度も入ってきた。私の答えなどあなたは知っているはずなのに、どうしてそこまで私に構うのです。私が
First line.
Yeah, I know. I chose not to comment.
Yeah, I have. Many people were sacrificed in the name of the king. Many enemies killed. I have no intention of pretending that didn't happen. Still, knowing this, I want Artoria to be happy.
それがどうした？この感情が何かは知らない。俺はただセイバーをこのままにしておけないだけだ。
How many fucking times does she have to tell you no?
Yeah, there's the confirmation, right? No, if she tried to back out, or if Shiro convinced her to back out, yeah, Alaya is basically a Yakuza boss. Alaya has a contract. Artoria ain't getting out of that contract, fam.
Ooh, new phone on Wednesday?
Yeah,
That's always fun.
what are you getting? Anything fun, or are you just kind of getting like a...
What even series iPhone are we up to now?
15? I think? I don't know what... I think Samsung's on like the S25 now, maybe?
Pixel 10's supposed to come out later this year.
I know the OnePlus 13 just came out a little while ago.
Yeah, the only phone model I even remotely follow is the Pixel.
Galaxy 25 Ultra 512. Yeah, alright.
セイバーは笑ってくれ。俺はもっとずっとセイバーと一緒にいたい。
And that's being selfish.
It's such a childish confession. At least he recognizes it. Childish confession of love. I wait for her answer as the silence stretches out between us. What Saber might be doing or how she might be reacting behind that closed door, I have no idea. Are my words even getting through to her?
私の答えは変わりません。王の誓いは破れない。ふさわしくなかったとはいえ、私は王として国を任せられた。その責務を果たせなかったというのに、そんな自由は許されない。
Her voice is so sad. I can't stand it anymore. I don't want to hear the solitary oath Artoria took when she became king. I already know it. All this frustration wasn't just so I could hear her lamentations. I kick at the futon covers. Once again, fuck you, futon. The only thing between me and Saber is the sliding door leading to her room.
シロ、
The door slides softly as I open it. My mind goes blank. What was I so angry about? Why was I so sad? Before me, I see trembling eyes on the verge of tears. I see a slender neck and shoulders so thin they seem in danger of snapping in a breeze. And I see her golden hair splashed with moonlight, just like when we first met. Without even thinking, I'm embracing her. I hold her so tight I might break her. Snap. Oh, that was her back. It's different from that night. There's no immaculately folded shirts nearby to distract me this time. I didn't feel like this back then. This may sound ridiculous, period. Even though I was aspiring to be a champion of justice, I never fell in love. There was never someone I couldn't let go of.
Saber.
Sakura is just screaming in agony in the hospital. It's like she might disappear if I don't hold her tightly enough. Oh god, the black bars are coming for my ear! I'm not sure how long I hold her, but I relax my embrace after reminding myself that, no, she won't disappear. She's not currently dying.
シロ、突然に何を。これは一体どういうことですか。こんなことをされても、私は。
She moves slightly in my arms. Her lips tremble. She's about to say something I don't want to hear. So I place my lips over hers to silence her.
She's going to say no, so I take away her ability to deny consent. There's a word for that. Starts with an R, rhymes with grape.
Rasputin? She trembles in my arms. I'm looking at Saber, but I'm not seeing anything. But... huh? But my sense of touch has grown so much more sensitive now. I can feel the softness of Saber's lips. Our lips part. Saber places a hand on my chest and pushes me away gently.
シロ、今の口づけは。
She wants to say it was a mistake. Saber looks at me, on the verge of tears.
間違いなんかじゃない。何度だって言うぞ。セイバーが好きで、このまま話すことなんてできない。
I'm 17 and in love, and I think my emotions are the most important thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I am a typical teenage boy. Hello, nice to meet you. If you don't want that, yeah.
She's told you that many times. She has said no repeatedly.
And if you try to say no, I will just kiss you again.
And then proceed to continually tell you you're wrong.
俺とはマスターとサーバントの関係に
Yes!
過ぎないと断言して否定してくれていい。
She has! Several times! You just don't like to hear it!
卑怯な。そのようなことを口にしろというのですか。
By using my words to ask the question, primarily.
セイバーがはっきり言わない限りもう我慢しないからな。
A typical teenage boy with survivor's guilt the size of Jupiter wrapped within a hero complex. Yep.
セイバーが拒まないんなら俺はやりたいようにやるだけだ。
It's called rape. She does not have to say no for it to still be non-consensual.
It might not be true in Japan, I'm not sure. Even if I could only make her forget her vow to be king for a moment. Neither of us says anything for what feels like a long time. I keep holding Saber, feeling her soft, slender body. She's still tense, unsure of herself. All I can hear is our breathing and our hearts beating. How many times did our hearts beat against each other? She pushes a little harder on my chest.
So that's the other thing about this route that really irks me. Literally, everything he's doing to her is textbook grooming.
Except that she's like 2 decades older than him. But
Sure.
I see where you're coming from.
But it's still all grooming behavior.
No, I'm not disagreeing.
It's you're incorrect in what you believe. I'm putting my emotions on you to deal with. I'm putting you in positions where it's very, very difficult for you to refuse me, and then telling you if you don't refuse me outright that everything's just fine. Like, genuinely, when my agency has us do all the child abuse, child grooming, sexual assault trainings, literally all of this,
Why would they train you how to do those things?
they train us to identify those things. Like, there's no version of this relationship in which he isn't being emotionally and ostensibly sexually abusive.
Oh no, there is. It's called UBW.
あなたの気持ちには応えられない。あなたがその正しさを変えられないように、私にも変えられないものがある。できるのは、せめて許されるとしたら、それは。
Pause makes my heart ache. She bites her lip, trembling, as if confessing that what we did that night was not permitted. And yet, her body offers no resistance, and the hesitation in her eyes tells me something. Just one night. She's telling me of a hope she feels cannot be fulfilled. She wants to stay like this until the night ends.
そういえば俺は
I lift my hand, trying to embrace her. Saber takes hold of it.
方々を使いましたから。シロから力をもらわないと、私は戦えません。
Yeah, that's the real crux of the issue right now. Is the problem is, in order for her to actually be able to like fight Gilgamesh, she does sort of need magical energy, and because Shiro is such a dogshit mage,
Yeah.
the most expedient way to acquire that.
Yeah, I'm not.
Saber is nothing if not practical.
Sure. But
Unfortunately, her practicality is feeding Shiro's.
delusions.
Yeah. That does not make this romantic. No, it does not. Her hushed voice, asking for permission, falls silent. I have no words. That line of reasoning is so transparent, but it's the best she could do to ask for her wish to come true.
No, she's just being pragmatic.
ああそうだったなけどちゃんと動いてるのか
Do we need to get Reen?
はい。今でもシロからの供給は続いています。ですから、回復するためには、こうして。
Our bodies have to be close. It's all we can do. This is as close as we can be, because she's still bound by her oath, and I can't break that oath. Not for lack of trying, mind you. Saber moves in my arms. I don't know what to do with the heat of her pressed against me. Holding Saber's slender body in my arms makes my heart beat faster. And I'm ashamed of myself for getting agitated. Saber's cheeks practically glow red. She looks so embarrassed.
ですのでシロ、お願いです。今晩は共にあなたと眠らせてください。ケンとサヤは共にあればその力を取り戻しやすい。それにあの儀式と同じようにより心身を近づければ。
I nod silently. I'm much happier than I am embarrassed. I get to spend the night with Saber in my arms. Our bodies may not touch more than they are now, but we can be more intimate in our hearts.
R might be a strong word.
よかった。今夜は私が支度をしますので、先に部屋に戻っていただけませんか。
Saber stands up. I can't bear to let her go, but we can't stay like this forever, so I head back through the sliding door to my room. I turn back to look at her before I slide the door shut. Feels like I'm doing something wrong, though, so I close the door quickly. I don't know why, but I find myself sitting on top of my futon.
So I kick it angrily.
And then I punch it in the face. Fuck you, futon! My mind won't slow down. Practically doing somersaults just at the thought of sleeping with Saber. This is for her, to help her, to grant one small wish of hers. That wish being to be able to laser beam Gilgamesh.
Yeah, that wish. Excaliblast.
Yes. The smallest wish you could possibly grant. Excaliblast. If I keep on granting these small wishes for her, it'll add up, and maybe Saber will learn to smile. Or she'll Excaliblast Gilgamesh, the war will end, and then she'll go away.
Yeah, or her smiles start becoming rarer and rarer things, because people being groomed tend not to be that happy.
But the war is nearing its end. I don't know how much time we have left to keep doing this. Well, it's the last night, so now is the answer.
失礼します。シロ。
The sliding door opens. I shake away the depressing thoughts circling my head and look to Saber. I turn and look up at her. She's there. She got a nightgown from somewhere. Where did you get that?
Green, presumably.
I quietly gulp. Hair down Saber is a rarity. Like, I actually do quite like Saber with her hair down, but you don't get it that much.
Yes, we had the time change.
She's a figure of pure white in the darkness, apart from the yellow and the green. Seeing her, all that restless worry I felt melts away. She's just too beautiful. My heart is unclouded now.
おかしいでしょうか。この格好は。
Yes, because you didn't have that earlier. Did you just go to Reen to get that now? Like, Reen, I need a nightgown immediately.
ただ眩しくて困ったんだきっと。
I mutter something unintelligible about how difficult it makes things when a girl's too pretty. Even if I explained it to Saber, she wouldn't understand, but my mind's practically shorted out.
そちらに行ってもよろしいですか、シロ。
ああ、
For the first time, I realize she has beautiful, perfect toes. Suddenly foot fetish. You're not even looking at her toes!
Well, look, they needed another 4-letter word that starts with T and ends with S. They obviously couldn't keep it what he was likely originally praising.
Such beautiful toes. Quick, Shiro, think about toes. Think about something chaste like toes. Rather than something sinful and full of, you know, lust like boobs or butts. Just think about toes. It doesn't make you a weirdo at all.
It's only 2 letters away from tits, okay?
While Saber walks across the tatami mat floor to get close, I get off the futon and punch it and then pull the blanket back for her and punch the futon again. Fuck you, futon! I realize I'm 1 pillow short for the 2 of us to sleep together, but, well, it's too late for that, so anyway. Yeah, no, he does just call her Saber forever, and that's never not true. In no route does he ever not just call her Saber all the time. Saber and I sit side by side next to the futon.
Yeah, and I mean, I picked up on the fact that he only ever calls her Saber. And sure, like...
I mean, to be fair, it is what she told him to call her, so, I mean, I guess he's just not dead naming her or something, but...
Right, but... So that'd be like, you know, if I were starting off as friends with somebody and they told me to, for whatever reason, call them Taco. And we started dating. And I still insisted on calling them Taco. And only ever Taco.
Well, yeah, but that's what they asked you to call them.
Right. But no. Like, healthy relationships develop pet names. The things that you call them
Yeah,
other
like
than...
Taco.
No!
Maybe you switch from calling them Taco to calling them, like, Quesadilla.
Right. But has he gone from calling her Saber to calling her Blade or Sword or...
No, those sound too edgy. It'd have to be something like, Rapier. Or,
Oh, he'd like that one. The word rape's involved.
Or, what about, Stiletto? Or, Athame.
Look out, he's got a knife.
Look out, he's got a knife. Quick, knock the knife away with your mind powers.
Or freeze him in place and then run for your life.
Or feel really hard at him.
No, you just have to have a vision of him coming down that hallway and then get out of that hallway.
What was Phoebe's power that early? It wasn't...
It was visions. It was...
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I couldn't remember whether she started with the emotional shit or with the seeing
she
shit.
got temporarily cursed with empathy and then swore she never wanted it.
And then got it anyway.
Well, after she got rid of being cursed with empathy, she came into levitation next.
Yeah, she did have levitation. I knew that was later, though.
And then after levitation was empathy, at which point she lost the visions and the levitation because she massively royally screwed up with Cole, and was told basically no active powers, passive powers only.
Not that the visions were really an active power in the first place. She couldn't, like, do it at will. It just kind of happened.
Yeah, no, and anytime she was trying to actively force one, it was literally just Phoebe walks around the room groping things for a few minutes. Groping and squinting. Only for it not to work.
Piper, come here. Nope, not getting anything.
Piper was the best sister.
Piper was the... Well, after Prue died, anyway. Prue was the best sister in the early seasons, and then it was Piper by, like, a mile.
I will concede Prue was probably the more interesting sister in the early seasons, but Piper really came into her own.
Yeah, I mean, across the entire show, yes, I agree. Piper was the best one. But, like, until Prue's death, Piper was, like, a solid number 2. And Prue was far and away the best of the 3.
But I would say in the grand scheme of things, taking in all the seasons, I think Piper was a stronger character than Prue.
Oh yeah,
but
no,
that
not
comes
not
from having
disagreeing.
more time.
Not disagreeing. Yeah, across the entire show, Piper was the best one. Then probably Prue, and then Phoebe and Paige.
Paige and then Phoebe.
Ah.
Phoebe was way too whiny.
Okay, no, I'll grant you that. I just, you know, I never quite warmed to Paige after she took Prue's spot.
Yeah, I was about to say you're
I'm
partial.
just biased against Paige.
Yes, but I would think.
Although, you know what? I'm even gonna put Chris above Paige.
Listen.
Chris wasn't even a sister, but I'm putting him above Paige.
Listen, I would think, if anything, you'd be more upset with Phoebe because it was the on-set issues with Alyssa Milano that resulted in Prue's actress leaving the show.
Yeah.
Like, the biggest issue, as I've seen it behind it on set, was between Alyssa Milano and Prue's actress. Holly Marie Combs, who played Piper, has done some things with Prue's actress since. Like they still follow each other on socials. They'll interact when it comes to like fan events and things like that. And the actress who played Paige wasn't really on the show at the same time, so I don't think there's tension there.
Well, she just got brought in when Prue left.
Yeah.
Because they needed a third sister and it didn't work. So it's like, hey, here's the bastard love child of your mom and a white lighter.
Of your mom and her white lighter who broke up, her and your dad.
Don't worry about it. It's fine. Here, have a new family dynamic. Go!
Yeah, congratulations, Phoebe. You're not the youngest child anymore.
Hooray! Now go date a demon.
To be fair, she was dating a demon when Prue was alive, too.
I don't know if they knew that at that point, though.
I think they did.
Did they? I don't remember.
Yes, because the Western episode...
Oh, yeah.
Prue was in.
Yeah, that's true. I would have loved to see what Prue's powers evolved into, though.
So...
They could have been cool.
I think she probably, they probably would have evolved into more translocation style stuff, because if you go by... And sure, like, Paige's powers had to be slightly different because, part white lighter, but I think we'd have seen more evolution into potentially being, like, able to astral project into more places at once. Actually being able to use her powers through her astral projected form, which was a thing I think she'd been starting to work on before, biting the bullet, kicking the bucket. I was gonna turn it into biting the bucket.
Biting the bucket, she's just like, buckets!
Like, that's what that pause was, was me
kicking the bullet, biting the bucket.
Yeah, like, my brain was blurring idioms, and I had to stop myself.
Anyway, Saber and I sit side by side next to the futon. Then we both punch it. We're like, fuck you, futon! One room.
Group therapy crash session with the futon.
One room, one futon, Saber with me, both of us punching the shit out of this futon. I shouldn't be having any impure thoughts. Why? But my face feels like it's on fire. I can't even look at Saber, so I stare at the futon aggressively and punch the hell out of it. Well, we're not going to get anywhere like this. So I hurry into the futon and make room for Saber.
It's not uncensored, no. It's censored. Although, to be fair, I don't think there is an uncensored version on Switch.
There's not. There's a PC patch that adds back in the H scenes, but... I thought I'd give her the pillow, but she gently pushes Iz back to me.
God, the typos! Who proofread this?
Well, I'm glad she pushed Iz back to me. That's what I needed, was Iz.
私はその腕を枕にさせてください。
Okay. Saber.
Enabling.
Yeah, first off, that's enabling. And second, arms are not comfortable to sleep on. Curling up into someone's side and using their chest as a pillow, on the other hand, super comfy. That's actually great. And it's probably one of my favorite ways to sleep. However,
Especially if you kidnap a cat and make them do it.
but yeah, like, arms are too bony and just no.
Her words, barely a whisper, make my heart skip a beat, so I punch the futon in retaliation. Saber's surprisingly calm as she nestles into my arms. It's like she's settled in herself more than I'm holding her. A blade and its sheath. I remember Saber's words. Saber is about to drift off, pillowed on my arm like a sword in its sheath. Her warm, soft scent so close and calms rather than...
So close and calm.
No.
No.
Her warm... Hold on. It's that I read it wrong. Her warm, soft scent so close in calms rather than excites me.
Okay, I was about to say, with the way you read it, my brain was trying to pick up at comms, and I'm like, there's no way to make that sentence make sense.
So was I, until I realized that it was the inflection that was the problem. It wasn't that I read it wrong, it was the inflection that was the problem.
Shouldn't there be another comma after in?
Yes, there should. That's why I read it wrong. There should be another comma there.
Yeah, it should be her warm, soft scent, so close in, comma.
What it should be, warm, comma, soft scent, comma, so close in, comma. They've missed 2 commas. And that's why I read it wrong. I read it the way it's written.
So, you could almost excuse the lack of a comma between soft and sen. Like... But the lack of we're grammatically correcting a game that does not give a flying fuck at all about its grammar.
At least Saber passed is back to Shiro, okay? That's the important thing here, is that Shiro has is again. Dots. Saber's hand reaches for my hand.
No, there is an apostrophe.
There is. Saber hand reaches for my hand.
I mean, I wouldn't have been surprised if there wasn't an apostrophe S.
Quick, Shiro, walk yourself to your car. I take it inside the blanket. Phrasing. And I entwine my fingers with hers. And we drift off to sleep in silence. But before that,
Saber.
I call out to her as she lays beside me. I want to ask her at the end. I want to hear her again. I want to hear again why
That should say I want her to hear again why I desire.
I want to hear again why I desire her.
That is what that says.
Saber! Saber, tell me why I want you so badly. I don't remember.
No, he's not saying he wants to hear. He's saying
He wants to hear why he desires her.
no. He wants to hear himself say why he desires her so much. It's literally feeding his ego trip, and I'm fine with this. Meaning on the sentence.
Typos everywhere. Yeah, they clearly on the bits where they were just like filling in for H scene, they just had the fucking intern
これ
like
なら朝までには魔力の
do the translation.
これで明日からあなたのサーバントとして戦います。
セイバ
今はそれだけです。シロ。私の役割はあなたの身を守りきり、聖杯を手にすることだけです。
ー。それは
そうでしょう、シロ。この戦いを終わらせるために戦うと決めたのだから。
Thank you for the black border around the text.
Still hard as hell to read.
Could have been worse. Dots. I can't argue that point. If we want to solve our problem, we first need to end this war. To start, I won't be able to protect Saber unless I defeat the man who's after her.
Good luck with that.
I can take him! But... is there really a way for us to defeat the King of Heroes?
I mean, you are the protagonist, so presumably yes, but objectively no, there really fucking shouldn't be.
Dots. Dots. While the two of us lie quiet, we look out into the tranquil darkness.
Through the floor-level window in my room.
I told you, there's a skylight! I don't know how much time passes. My eyelids grow heavy. My body cries out for rest.
If whomever decided to have white text on a white background, I hope you step on a Lego.
Poor Lego, why would you do that to him? But our entwined fingers stay warm.
セイバー。
はい。考えるのは明日にしましょう。
Oh,
シロ。
misread that for a second. I thought that was like, just, yes, let's do the thing tomorrow, Shiro. Not now, we'll do the thing tomorrow.
明日になれば良い案が浮かぶかもしれませんし。それに
She just wants to sleep together like this. Or she's just tired and wants to go to bed. She holds my hand gently as she says so.
そうだな。俺も。
おやすみなさい、シロ。目を覚ましたら
No, they won't. Shiro will make things awkward, continue to disregard your sense of independence and or your opinion.
See, at least when Bleach did that, it was funny. Like, in the Rukia retrieval arc of Bleach, when she gets, like, kidnapped and is about to be executed, and Ichigo shows up to save her from the giant execution chicken. That's not a joke. They execute people by giant flaming chicken. So he shows up to save her from the giant flaming chicken, and she's like, no, I have to be killed. And Ichigo's response, as voiced by Johnny Bosch, because naturally, is, shut up. From now on, all of your opinions are disregarded. And it's the funniest shit in the world. I lean my face down close to hers and close my eyes. The last thing I see is Saber smiling warmly. I don't care if that moment of vulnerability was only for tonight. Yeah, that was hilarious. Ichigo just literally chucks her to safety. It shows up. He's like, no, from now on, all of your opinions are disregarded. Rips her out of the execution device and just tosses her to the side. The hand holding mine right now is so warm. It's more than enough for me, and I fall into a satisfied sleep. And no one was banged that night. The end of battle. Once everything is over, I'm not sure I can keep holding this hand. And then, silence settles in. And the top one is not a save point, or... yeah, not choice points. We can just save over that. Yep. Day 15. Getting up to the church. / something. Oh. 2:15. Fate. 15. Utopia. We did it, chat. We reached Utopia. We guided the people to the promised land by getting them past all the rat ghouls. When I awake, the sun is already up.
Nope. My brain's providing nothing.
Well, you guys, Willow doesn't remember Taurus.
Nope.
Nothing about the Vulkars or the hidden backs or needing to win
Oh, there it is.
win a race
There
to go
it
save
is.
a Jedi from a cage.
There it
So
is.
that she can be an ungrateful bitch to you for no reason.
Look, I mentally block out anything that has anything to do with Bastila, so...
Yeah, but Karth was there.
Yes, but so was Bastila.
Sorry, I mean Caden was there. You know, Caden Alenko from Star Wars. Not to be confused with Karth Onasi from Mass Effect.
How did you type the word was on my phone with your foot? I was gonna do the same thing. It's very important all of you see the word Inu somehow typed with his foot.
Was. My room was dimly lit. I feel like it's still last night, but I quickly shake my head to banish that. That was me waking up this morning. It's like, oh, this feels like it's still last night. I needed another hour of sleep.
No, I got to sleep in because my cat didn't wake me up until 6, which was really 5, which is when she always wakes me up.
Yeah.
But my clock said differently, so if everything stays on track between feedings, I might get to sleep an extra hour moving forward. Yay!
No, probably not.
Probably not.
外は曇りか。道理で目が覚めないはずだ。
Ah, yes, I also often fail to wake up when there's clouds. The added darkness seems to have done a lot to help my sleep-deprived body get some actual rest.
I'm sorry. It's just your deadpan. I also am unable to awake when there's clouds.
I also sometimes fail to wake up when there's clouds.
Oh god, that'd be a really pointless superpower.
I'm Cloud Man! What are my powers? No, I can't summon clouds. No, I can't turn clouds into fun animal shapes for children. Nope. When there are clouds, I sleep.
No, that feels more like Sunman to me, where the way you shut down Sunman is just by making it really cloudy.
It's called Dayman, Fighter of the Nightman, Master of the Sun. Champion of the Sun, Master of Karate. A glance at the clock tells me that it's past 1 in the afternoon. Fuck you, clouds. Hero turns around and punches the clouds. Then punches the futon just for good measure. Fuck you, clouds. Fuck you, futon. Cloudy, I sleep. Sonny, real shit. Yeah. I'm way past the point of oversleeping.
セイバー、起きてるか？
There's no answer. Saber is still next to me, slightly curled and still asleep. Once I'm not sleepy anymore, I wake up, but Saber has to recover her magical energy. Considering how much he slept in the past, I doubt she'll wake up until later in the afternoon. It is later in the afternoon! I leave my room without waking Saber. There's no reason to wake her, so I punch the futon. The real danger is at night. There's no way Lancer or Gilgamesh will appear while the sun's still out. Are you like 1,000% sure that Gil's not just gonna show up? Cause like, he's clearly not obeying the rules of the Grail War already, Shiro.
Yeah, his kind of continued existence is breaking the rules of the Grail War.
No, it's very much in line with the rules of the Grail War. It's just like he shouldn't be participating in this one. The fact that he's just taking part in this one because he felt like it is breaking the rules. So we need to come up with a plan. I don't know about Lancer, but Gilgamesh will definitely show up tonight. Given his personality and the murderous look he gave us before he left yesterday, we can definitely expect him tonight. But what should we do? He has an infinite supply of noble phantasms, and one of them is stronger than Excalibur.
At least one of them is stronger than Excalibur.
Berserker was a hard enemy to defeat, but we still managed. We managed to find and exploit a chance to turn the tide against him. Not this guy. If he showed up now, it wouldn't even be a contest. One blow from that noble phantasm, Aya, and we're finished.
手を考えないと日没まで時間がない。
In another few hours, the sun will set. Maybe what you do, right, is you walk up to Gil and you mock like you're holding a gun and you just point it at him and hope that he panics and jumps out the window to his death. There won't be an end to this if I think on my own.
Sorry, are you implying that for Gilgamesh,
Uh-huh.
jumping out a window and falling to just ground would be enough to kill him?
Possibly.
I don't think ground is strong enough if Excaliblast isn't.
I mean, the ground weighs more than Excaliblast.
Yeah, but Excaliblast's a giant laser.
Yeah, and the ground is a giant rock.
Sorry, but Excaliblast beats rock. This isn't in the game of rock, paper, Excaliblast. Rock does not beat Excaliblast. Never you mind that I substituted Excaliblast.
It's actually
Wizard.
rock Excaliblast scissors, I think you'll find.
Yeah.
So yeah, Excaliblast. That would be how that would work. But in rock paper Excaliblast, yes, rock would in fact beat Excaliblast. I think you'll find. More like you had no plan and pulled the victory out of your ass. But yeah, you know exactly. If Saber, Tosaka, and I can't think of a plan, then
監督役であるあいつなら
we'll ask the priest.
Who's definitely not working with Gilgamesh.
The priest will know what to do. He might have a plan that could help us deal with the mess we're in. The King of Heroes, Gilgamesh. Kotomine said he'd find some way to deal with the servant who survived the previous Grail War. Even if we can't think of a countermeasure, Kotomine might have already thought of something.
It's been a day.
Yeah, but Kotomine is smart and has the resources of the church at his disposal. He can tell people about gas leaks and they just believe him.
So, I think what's happening here is Shiro going, I need an adult.
Saber's an adult, but I need an adultier adult.
Yep. Well, the thing is, Saber doesn't look like an adult. He needs an adult that looks like an adult.
Saber also doesn't act like an adult.
Yeah. He needs an adultier adult. An adult that's better at adulting than Saber.
Taiga! Oh, wait, she's still in the hospital. Old man Taiga! Old
Like-
man Fujimura!
Like, honestly, there are still days in my life at 32 where I go, I need an adult. I know I'm an adult, but I need an adultier adult. Can someone older than me come tell me how to do this, please?
Hill. I walk up the hill. I mean, that looks more like down the hill to me, but okay.
Yeah, that does look more downhill than uphill, but...
If you say so. The sky is blanketed with ash gray clouds. I pass out. The church sits alone at the top of the hill. There's nobody there, and not a sound to be heard, not even birds chirping. Maybe that's because it's so gloomy out, or the birds are all sleeping because there's clouds. As you do. The place looks more ominous than holy. It looks like an execution site.
Well, yeah, but just imagine what it would look like with the sun shining bright behind it. Definitely less execution.
Well, it's funny because the church's, like, kill squad are called executors. Yeah, the church has a kill squad.
To be fair, in real life, historically, at various periods of time, the church has had a kill squad.
And their kill squad, among other things, specializes in MDKing vampires and also mages. So, you know. I walk up the long hill and cross the wide open square, ready to be judged for my sins and cast down into hell.
Leave the vampires alone.
なんだ。例え話になってないな、それ。
Besides, the church is a place where people What? Besides, the church is a place where people die.
So it's nothing like an execution site.
Huh? What? How do you figure, Shiro? That's just a common thing in Fuyuki. People are like, I'm getting old. Excuse me, I'm going to go to the church and blast my brains out. What?
I love the what they return to.
People die when they go to church, Shiro Emiya. Oh, for God's sake. Hospitals work to prolong a person's life, but plenty of people die there. Right, but what does it have to do with churches?
What has anything to do with the church? I'm so confused. I mean, I usually don't... I usually don't understand Shiro's train of thought, but I really don't understand this one.
Churches are like that, too. What?
So, people
People
go there
go
to
to-
prolong their lives,
People
but
go
then
and then just
die?
die. And
that's not how church works.
I have never, ever, once in my life, been in a church where somebody just spontaneously died in the church.
I mean, I'm sure it's happened.
Oh, certainly in the history of the world, yes, I'm sure somebody has died at a church, but like, I ain't never seen it.
And I certainly wouldn't associate the church with people walking in and keeling over. Like, I don't understand your thinking here, Shiro.
Maybe for Fuyuki, the church is like that suicide forest that Japan has, where people go to just kill themselves. It's like, alright, time to die, let's go to church.
In that sense, death hangs heavy over this place. How?
Because people die when they go to church.
I'm sorry, but I'm gonna keep taking screenshots of this ridiculous thing till I've got everything this page has to tell me about church. Because apparently we've been churching wrong our entire lives.
The church is a place where people die. You know, as you do.
can't wait to tell our parents we've been misunderstanding church our entire lives. Also, Mom, Dad, I'm sorry. Neither of you are allowed to go to church anymore. Apparently people die there.
The wind's cold. I pull up my collar and climb the church's stairs. I die. Immediately. Then I pass out because it's still cloudy.
Then I walk into world's most narrow church where everything's immediately accessible from the door.
Including the other door behind the door that goes into the living quarters.
Instead of something like, oh, I don't know, the sacristy or...
No, that would be at the back.
Well, yes, but he also went forward from the door he was at to get to...
Yeah, but Kotomine came out of a door behind him, and the only door behind him was the door he came through originally, but then there was another door on that wall that they went through that somehow went into the living quarters.
Right. Like I said, nothing makes sense about the layout of this church.
This church does not obey Euclidean geometry. Maybe that's why Shiro thinks people die here. It's like a labyrinth and they just get lost and they just die. I step into the chapel. Just like the square, there's nobody here.
Kotomine?
He might be in the back. I pass through the pews and walk towards the altar. Tap, tap, tap. A dry sound echoes through the chapel. I'm glad it's not a wet sound. It'd be weird if you walk in and you're just suddenly like...
Oh, but I think it's fascinating that the tapping sound they're giving Shiro's footfall are literally what I sound like walking in heels. So I'm just picturing Shiro walking around in a t-shirt, gray pants, and like a pair of 3-inch heels.
The building is probably designed to make sounds echo, but the sound of my lonely footsteps is haunting in this huge empty space.
Kotomine, いないのか?
I call softly to the priest. This is ridiculous. If I want an answer, I should be shouting. He's probably in the back, so he won't hear me unless I shout. But I don't. I keep quiet, tiptoeing my way to the back of the church. Then I think about Saber's toes. Damn it! I shouldn't be having these unchaste thoughts in church. I'll die. It's what you do in a church, is you die. Am I doing this so I don't mess with the solemn air of the chapel?
And invoke the death-dealing powers of a church.
Yeah.
Not the church, a church.
Just church in
The
general.
building.
Or because I feel like if I'm spotted, I'll be surrounded by things I don't understand and maybe get beheaded for defiling God or something.
Shiro, what the fuck do you think happens at church?
He's just suddenly surrounded by biblical angels who just behead him for not knowing what a god is.
No, fuck Shiro.
Biblical angels appear. They're like, you were thinking about toes. Die! Die, heathen scum!
Sure, the church is an ultra abomination. We tried establishing ourselves here to forge it, but it embraced the Christian motif. That song you hear isn't purely in your head, it's a signal.
I exit the chapel and head to the courtyard.
確か琴峰の部屋は
I walk more quietly down the corridor. The church is like a labyrinth, and I don't know how to find Kotomine's room. I wasn't paying attention last time. My memory's kinda hazy, and I'm sure I won't be able to find it on my own.
Because there's no building more maze-like than a church.
True story. I mean, you can get lost very easily. It's how everybody dies. They just get lost in the church and starve to death.
There's something.
I slow my breathing. It's hard to breathe. My throat is parched.
What?
But beads of sweat begin forming on my forehead, though the corridor itself is chilly. I use all of my senses to try to get a feel for my surroundings.
Do so.
But I'm not sure why. Why am I walking so quietly? Why is my heart beating so fast? Why can't I stop thinking about toes and clouds?
And pristinely folded shirts.
Why do I have such a bad feeling about this place?
That voice does sound like it hurts, I agree.
It does. Tremendously, in fact. Two words repeat over and over in my mind. Toes. Toes.
No, murder and church.
Saber's toes. Saber's toes. Go back, go back, go back, go back. Kotomina is not here, so you have no reason to stay. You're alone. You should go home. This is a mistake. People die at church. It shouldn't be so cold. It's all wrong. Go back, go back, go back. Saber's toes are at home. Go back. For your own sake, go back. There's nothing bad happening here. This place is where people die. There's nothing happening in the church. Go home. I feel nauseous. I think I might throw up. My intuition is always right about these sorts of...
Yeah, generally people know when they're about to throw up, Shiro. It's almost like it's a physical bodily reaction to something. It's why most people have the time to run to the nearest bathroom or sink or garbage can or bucket before just
friend in the front row.
before just abruptly vomiting.
Nah, front row. Just get the front row.
Well, yeah, what was he supposed to do? Arc it all
Projectile
to
to the back, yeah. For an untrained mage, I have a pretty good danger sense. Which is why my feet don't stop. I'm just picturing happy feet now.
No, I'm now stuck on, which is why my feet don't stop. I feel unsafe. So, instead of pausing long enough to figure out...
Onwards to danger!
Yeah, right.
I try to get my racing heart under control as I search for Kotomine's room. And then I run into a deep darkness. Ah yes, the church has a basement. I spot a set of stairs. In the deep shadows, I see a recess that I'd normally overlook. In it, I see a very, very narrow staircase. I shouldn't go down there. I can bet.
Kotomine won't be there.
There won't be anyone down there.
There's nothing there.
There won't be any
There won't be any, sis.
There will be no courses in the basement.
There won't be any pee. Basement. I should not go down there.
In there, but...
There might be.
My neck stiffens. I should immediately save the game.
I was about to say, without even pressing the A button, I'm assuming I have to save here.
Yes. Now. Yeah. So, here's the question when you're presented with two very reasonable choices. Should we go home or go to the basement? Which one of these is death?
So,
Remember, there is no pee in the basement.
in theory, go back home should be the safe choice.
Right.
Which inevitably means it's the death.
It sure is. Quickly, let's go home so we can die.
Yeah, go back home should be the logical.
It sure
solution.
should. Everything in your body is
Telling
screaming at
you
you
not to-
that there's no core in the basement, there's no cess in the basement, and there's no pee down there.
And that this place is unsafe and churches are dead.
And-
So logically, the best thing to do would be go home.
So anyway, home with us. Onwards to the Emir residence. I turn from the dark stairway that leads underground. As my heart hammers in my chest, I run.
Okay, running was your problem.
I can't stay another second.
When you're somewhere you shouldn't be.
I trip on some toes and face plant into the ground. I die.
So real world advice from Willow. When you're somewhere you shouldn't be.
Run.
And-
Run like hell.
And you know that you don't belong there.
Run like hell.
Pretend you belong there because people tend to question it less.
Yeah, and if you're running around a place, you clearly belong there. I need to get out of this building right now. This is a bad place. It's always been like this. The church is not somewhere I should ever have come. People die when they go to church. I shouldn't have ever come into this building or met the priest. I return to the chapel. The empty house of God is deathly ominous. Suddenly, I'm surrounded by things I don't understand, and they behead me for not believing in God. I keep running, only briefly glancing back. I'm almost at the exit, and then I run face first into a person. There's nobody behind me. There's nobody behind me. There's nobody behind me. I leave the church. I run through the square without looking back. There's clouds. I pass out. What am I afraid of? What am I running from? I can't seem to shake off the sense of unease clinging to me.
Shiro, 一人でどこに行っていたのですか?
I went to church. The moment I come home, I get a different sort of scare. Saber is at the entrance, looking absolutely livid.
ああ、ただいま、セイバー。
ただいまではありません。一人で外に出るなと何度言ったらわかるのです、あなたは。
うん、そうだった。ごめん。次は気をつける。
次などありません。今度という今度は本気で怒りました。シロ、外出の理由を教えてください。
Well, I felt guilty about being aroused by toes, so I went to church to confess my sins. But I got confused, and I thought that church is a place where people die, so I ran away.
I'm afraid of a
I'm
building.
afraid of churches. I've discovered.
昨日の傷も癒えきっていない。いつギルガメッシュが襲ってくるかもわからない状況で、どうして私を困らせるのです。
Also, what was that about toes? Saber glares at me. But I don't know what it is.
教会に行ってきたんだ。あの神父からギルガメッシュの弱点でも聞ければいいと思って。
I was like, surely the priest will know how to kill
教会です
Gilgamesh.
か。しかし、どうして今になって。
前に相談したんだ。監督役のあいつなら前回から残っているサーバントをどうにかできるかもしれないって。けど無駄だったし失敗した。確かに怒られて当然だ。俺にはセイバーがいるんだからちゃんと二人で教会に行けばよかったんだ。
I have no interest in seeing the priest. I bow my head to apologies again.
いえ、分かってもらえれば、私は別に。
And she's immediately not furious anymore. Saber's threatening posture eases all at once. It's always been like that. Saber always gets really, really angry at how stupid I can be, but at the same time, she's kind enough to forgive me right away. Or, if I'm being egotistical, it's like her resentment at being left home alone vanishes as soon as I get back.
そうですね。シローが反省しているのなら、この件は不問に処します。私も少々大人げなかったようです。
そんなことないけど、セイバー、俺のことを待っててくれたんだろ。正直、それで助かった。玄関で怒鳴られた時、
私に怒鳴られて助かったのですか？
ああ、セイバーのところに帰ってきてよかったって心底ほっとした。
Yeah, I'm glad to be home. I get to see Saber's face again, and not die in a church. If I'd gone down into that basement, I don't think I'd have ever made it home. I'm sure I made the right choice now. Oh, that's a heart attack.
シロー、ランサーと協力するのはどうでしょうか？
Great idea. Question, how do we find Lancer?
セイバー、今なんて言った？
It's past 2 in the afternoon. I'm sorry, you woke up, got to the church, got back, had that conversation.
And it's been less than an
And
hour.
it's been less than... Had lunch, and it's been less than an hour? I don't know about that one, Chief.
Timekeeping in this game is not great.
Like, is the church... We know the church is up a fucking hill. It's not like it's next door.
ランサーと協力するのです。ギルガメッシュは聖杯戦争のルール外の存在だ。ランサーにとっても見過ごせない相手でしょうから。
Again,
条件さえ揃え
great
ば
idea.
問題なく
How
共
do
闘して
you
くれる。
propose we find Lancer?
敵の敵は味方ってことか。
I mean, Ilya was keeping tabs on everyone in the Grail War, so presumably she might know who's got Lancer.
She might know where Lancer was as of like 2 or 3 days ago.
見返りがあるのなら一時的に味方になってくれるでしょう。
I mean, it's better than what Shiro knows.
Well, Shiro knows that if he goes to school, Lancer will stab him, and if he stays home, Lancer will stab him, so maybe he should just do those 2 things. Teaming up with Lancer, huh? That may be our only choice. And that he's the only other servant you could pair up with right now. We're no match for Gilgamesh on our own. But if Saber and Lancer can cooperate, we should be able to come up with at least a couple of schemes.
そうだな。ランサーが協力してくれるかはわからないが、話を持ちかけてみる分にはただだし。となると、問題は
Finding Lancer.
はい。いかにランサーと接触するかですね。
Quick, light the Lancer signal.
ランサーはあの夜以来現れませんし、彼のマスターも未だ不明です。残り2人となったこの状況で、いつまでも生還しているとは思えないのですが。
Technically, you're not the only 2 masters left. You're the only 2 servants left.
Right.
Reen and Ilya both still have command seals.
Well, Rain has a command seal, but yes.
So even though they do not currently have servants, they are still masters.
True story.
だよな。なのに出てこないってことは、セイバーとの一騎打ちにおじけづいてるとか。
Well, she did body the hell out of him night 1 without even, like,
And
attempting
dodged
to
his
Excalibur
noble
blast him.
phantasm like it was relatively nothing.
I mean, she got hit by it. It just wasn't fatal like it was supposed to be.
まさかランサーは気持ちのいい英霊です。私との一騎打ちを喜びこそすれ、嫌がるとは思えない。にもかかわらず現れないということは、 何か事情があるのかもしれませんね。
We fold our arms, thinking.
朝から妙に息が合ってるのね、二人とも。
遠坂
Why are you in your uniform?
What do you mean this morning? It's 2 in the afternoon.
リン、いつからそこに？
Also, yes, why are you wearing your school uniform? Exactly. School is still canceled on account of stupefaction and hospitalization of all of the students and staff. The two of us jump simultaneously.
さっきからずっと。セイバーは白、シロはセイバーしか見てないもんだからさ、バカらしくなって黙ってたの。いい判断でしょ？せっかくいい雰囲気なんだから、二人の仲を邪魔しちゃ悪いし。リン、私とシロはサーバントとマスターであって、決してそのような。はいはい、そういうことにしといてあげる。
If you say so.
それよりさっきの話だけど、ランサーと協力するっていうのは私も賛成よ。あの金ピカがかの英雄王なら、それぐらいしないと賞賛なんてないし。
Oh man. I don't know how much she heard, but Tosaka's at least aware of the current situation. Apparently, she eavesdropped on our conversation during lunch, and she knows that Archer is Gilgamesh and that he possesses a noble phantasm even more powerful than Saber's.
そんなわけなんで、一旦家に戻るわ。私用の武器とランサーをおびき出す準備。それに、イリアの薬も調合してこないといけないから。
Wait, Ilya's sick?
イリアの薬遠坂、イリアがどうかしたのか？
別に、昨日から変わってないわ。呼吸は安定してるし、熱も下がってる。今、お腹が減ったら起きてくるだろうから、そうしたら美味しいものでも作ってあげて。
She places an empty rice bowl on the table. I can't believe Tosaka was even here eating lunch this whole time.
じゃあね。夕食までに戻るから、それまでおとなしくしてるのよ。
Why did you put your school uniform on to go home? Once Tosaka has left, Saber and I don't have much to do together, so I just blankly stare at the clock as it ticks away. I can't say why, but the living room feels a little tense.
シロ。
お茶のおかわりいるか、セイバ
We both look up at the same time, but we both freeze when our eyes meet.
ー。何かな、セイバー。用があるなら言ってくれ。
いえ、そう、お茶のおかわりお願いします。
わかった。すぐ入れてくる。
A nerve-wracking hour passes by. Since we're not doing anything, we might as well train at the dojo or just lie down to rest. Neither Saber nor I bring either idea up. Even I know this is entirely too awkward. I know, but I just want to keep spending time with her. No matter how tense or nervous I am around her, and I've already had 10 cups of tea, I just want to relish the moment and watch her face and her toes. And then...
Oh, please tell me this is somehow about to be a game of Ding Dong Death.
when I get up to go to the kitchen, the doorbell rings.
客こんな時に
A visitor at 2 p.m.?
The ungodly, inappropriate hour of 2 in the afternoon.
I mean, it seems an inappropriate time to visit someone to me. It's rare for anyone to visit here. Yeah, the only person that's done it the whole game was Issei. Sakura's the only one who'd ring the doorbell. Didn't Issei ring the doorbell that one time? And she's supposed to stay away until the war ends, and also she's in the hospital! Fujine's still at home recuperating too, and I don't have much of a relationship with the neighbors.
シロ、
ああ、一緒に来てくれ、セイバー。何かあったら大将頼む。
There's a visitor. We may have to
Ding
murder
dong.
them.
Can I interest you in our Lord and Savior Jesus? Saber, kill them!
They want me to go to church. People die there.
People die at church, Saber. Kill them! Kill them now!
はい。シロの身は私が必ず。
We don't take kindly to fucking Jehovah's Witnesses around
ど
here.
なたですか？
I called to the visitor through the closed door.
教会のものだが、頼まれていた調査の結果を知らせに来た。
Oh, cool. The church is calling. I stopped breathing for a second. It's the very man I went to see this morning.
シロ、どうしたのです？顔色が悪いようですが。
いや、大丈夫だ。セイバー、開けていいか？セイバーが嫌なら、こいつには帰ってもらう。
That first night, Saber refused to go inside the church. I remember that, which is why I ask. Then I give her a raincoat so that she can disguise herself.
シロの判断に従います。
Quick, hide in one of my many dressers. I nod once and open the front door.
随分と時間を取ったな。何か私に会いたくない理由でもあったかね、エミヤシロ。
別にない。わざわざ出向いてくれるとは思ってなかったんで驚いただけだ。話があるんだろ。
Certainly, but
とりあえ
first,
ず上がってくれ。
do you have a moment to talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? Saber, kill him! I beckoned Kodomine toward the living room. However,
いや、立ち話でよかろう。分かったことはわずかでな。話はすぐに済む。
Kodomine draws back, like he's trying to leave.
どこ行くんだ、ことみね。
言っただろう。立ち話をすると。だが、そこのサーバントがいてはできん。そのように殺気を放たれては、私も命が惜しくなる。
Your servant makes me uncomfortable. I look back at Saber.
セイバー。
Kodomine's right. Saber looks so viciously murderous that even I find myself paling.
前回のマスターが何のようです？あなたはキリツグに撃ち殺されたと記憶していますが。
Yeah, Saber's like, fuck are you doing here? You were killed. I watched you be shot.
Because Kiritsugu apparently brought a gun to a mage fight.
Kiritsugu liked guns. Quite a lot, in fact. He had magic bullets that were specialized for killing mages.
確かにな。マスターを放棄し、両手を上げたところで背後から撃ち抜かれた。私に神の加護がなければ、あのまま
Oh,
死
so
んでい
you're
ただ
the
ろう。
snake Gilgamesh gave immortality to. Understood.
だがそれがどうしたのだ。お前にとっては先日の話だろうが、私にとっては10年前の過去に過ぎん。すでに終わった戦いをここで蒸し返すとでも言うのか。
His words do nothing to calm Saber down.
セイバー、ことみねの言う通りだ。今は前回の戦いを忘れてくれ。
Saber, chill. He's a priest. Nothing bad happens at church apart from people dying.
シロ。ですが、この男は油断なりません。キリツグは真っ先にこの神父を標的にした。それは、この男が何より優先して倒すべき敵だったからです。
No, Shiro, you don't understand. Your dad wanted to super kill this guy.
光栄だな。最後まで残ったお前たちにそう言わしめたのなら、私も捨てたものではない。
Shiro, did you not just hear him literally coming back from the
その
dead?
ような減らず口をよくも。
Saber casually drops that this man died and came back, and she was like, "We can trust him.
Look, that
He's
happens in
basically
the...
Jesus."
Yeah, I was about to say that happens in the church. What, it took 3 days?
The air grows heavy with tension. Not good. I'm not sure I can hold Saber back.
待ってくれセイバー。琴峰にはギルガメシュについて調べてもらっていたんだ。もうあいつの正体は判明したけど、それ以外は謎のままだろう。今は少しでもあいつを知る必要があるんじゃないのか。
それはそうですが、しかし
私はどちらでもいいぞ。そう役に立つ話ではないかもしれん。それに私とて思うところがないわけではない。かつてこの胸を打ち抜いた男のサーバントにここまでぶしつけな殺気を向けられては気分が悪い。まだ未熟ゆえ神父として振る舞うことができなくなりそうだ。
それは私とて同じだ。かつての敵に心を許すことなどない。
The two glare at each other. This isn't going anywhere.
セイバー、下がっていてくれ。琴峰の話を聞く。
シロ、いけない。この男は危険だ。話を聞くのなら私も。
ああ、けど気持ちはわかるが、俺だってマスターの端くれだ。もし何かあってもすぐにはやられないし、セイバーだって何かあったらすぐ来てくれるだろ。
There's
Famous
no
last
ことなんて
words.
起こらないよ。
There's no danger, Saber. We're not at church.
当然だ。人の身でサーバントを出し抜けるものか。エミヤシロ、お前のサーバントはどうも過保護すぎるようだな。
あんたもあんまり挑発しないでくれ。とにかく話を聞く。セイバーは奥に下がってもらうから、それでいいだろう。
いや、ここでは気が乗らん。セイバーに襲われた時、逃げ道がないからな。
So we
確
step
か
outside.
中庭があったはずだ。あそこならセイバーが乱心しても数秒は逃げられる。それだけの間があればお前とて霊樹でセイバーを止められる。
いいぜ。けどそんなことは絶対に起こらない。セイバー、縁側で待機していてくれ。何かあったらすぐに呼ぶ。
はい。マスターがそう言うのなら。
Oh man, I'm getting put in timeout. Saber goes to the timeout corner because she dared to tell you a man came back to life from the dead.
ここならよしだ。見晴らしもいい。屋敷の作りも把握できる。
We stand about 2 meters apart. It might be hard to hear if he whispers, but it's enough of a distance for me to react if something happens.
ね、分かったことって何なんだ、琴峰。
ああ、その前に一つ確認したいことがあるのだが。
Exactly how many command spells do you have left?
He gives a deep, seemingly benevolent smile. Kotomine takes a step closer.
朝は留守にしてすまなかった。そう。これはお前の忘れ物だ。
I hear a heavy thud. Kotomine throws something onto the grass.
結界の音。
The bounded fields, musty old skeleton?
No, I think he meant the alarm went off for something breaching the bounded field. The bounded field my old man put up, the one meant to sound an alarm when intruders with malicious intent enter the area, is ringing?
騒ぎの元はランサーだ。目的があって屋敷に押し入ったのだろう。
I barely hear Kotomine. No, I'm busy staring at the thing he threw at my feet. It occupies my entire attention. because it looks like the corpse of a small child.
セイバーが迎え撃ったか。室内ではあれの本領は発揮できん。イリアス・ピールをさらうにはもう一手必要だろうに。
Gears are spinning over here, guys. I can smell the smoke.
I mean, I think I'm confirmation biasing again. But I also think my D&D brain's overacting at the moment. Because I'd like to be incorrect. Unfortunately, I haven't been incorrect with many of my wild hunches.
If it helps, think about Saber's toes.
No, I don't have a foot fetish. So
Neither does Shiro, ostensibly, but, you know, we saw how that went.
No, it's Willow Thinky time o'clock. I'm not fully sure on the how beyond her family's just kind of ridiculous, but I also fail to understand that there's an element of what I think is going on that doesn't make sense to me. So, Ilya has repeatedly been referred to as a vessel over the course of the game.
Mm-hmm.
By multiple different characters, multiple different times.
Right.
So, D&D Willowbrain says that beings created by magic, things like, this is technically the Pathfinder 2e term for it, and I'm not entirely sure that they exist in the same capacity in 5th edition. But, like, I'm thinking about, ironically, Sarge's alchemist character from when I ran Wrath of the Righteous. Their familiar was a homunculus.
Mm-hmm.
You could store stuff inside of them. We routinely used it for storage. It was great. But,
Well, like I said, homunculi exist within the Fate canon. The main character of Apocrypha is a homunculus.
right.
One of the casters in that thing, his whole thing is making, well, golems actually, but anyway.
Right. But why would the servants care? And why would Ilya's family be so convinced she was going to win the Grail War? I mean, other than the fact that she had Berserker.
Yeah, because she's an Einsburn and they gave her Heracles.
But
is genuinely the reason.
But the thing I keep getting stuck on is that all of the servants seem to hyper fixate on Ilya the second they meet her. Like, she became the main focus for Shiro and Co. because she had Berserker. But even then, there were other threats, and they hyper fixated on Heracles. But
yeah, well, he was the biggest threat.
But also, Lancers trying to get Ilya. Goldie paid active attention to Ilya, and was the last one to actively call her a vessel, as I recall. the Grail inside people?
They who?
They, whoever's in charge of making sure the Grail's around for the Grail Wars.
The Grail's not so much a physical object, really. At least not until the war has concluded.
Right, so it would then therefore need to be stored metaphysically somewhere.
Not
Like
quite.
say a person who has other people who share similar physical characteristics to her who have been referred to as the failures or the cast-offs.
Ilya's family does tend to look very similar to each other, for what it's worth. The thing is, you're not quite there.
But not being quite there implies I'm very much on the right track.
I'm not going to deny that, but you're off base.
Is it safe for me to look at chat? Because I know Bio's not around to be actively reminding people of things I can't see.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Okay.
There's nothing there that's problematic.
Oh, people have taken up the Bio role of reminding people not to spoil things for me. That's good. Well, I'm problematic. No, don't.
I'm Spartacus. Bio's always around. He's probably just preoccupied with other stuff tonight. Happens sometimes.
I'm on the right track, but I'm still missing something.
Yeah. But I can't give you anything without giving it away, is the problem.
Which means I'm real damn close.
It's not a corpse. The child corpse, incidentally. It's alive. The child looks so miserable. I want to avert my eyes, but it's alive. Its face isn't even identifiable. A sharp, heavy object pierces my heart from behind.
人の身でサーバントを出し抜くことはできない。当然だな。サーバントを出し抜くのはやはりサーバントのみだろうよ。
I don't care about the priest's chilling smile. I don't even care that my heart's been destroyed and I'm spitting up blood.
How old would Ilya have been when the last Grail War ended?
8.
And physically, Shiro's described her as looking, what, around 12-ish?
Ish.
So she hasn't always been host to Grail-based energies.
You're still not quite on base, but in line with what you're thinking now. Questions are all that occupy my mind.
Yeah, same! Yeah. for the first time, Shiro. Same.
Oh, guys, she's identifying with Shiro.
No, I'm identifying with a singular sentence.
Why do I hurt? Why do I remember Saber's toes as I die? Recognize the corpse. It's not even human anymore. It's also not a corpse because you just said it was alive. Anyway, dead. For once, Shiro didn't tell us shit as he was dying. He was just like, oh, I've been stabbed. Good night. No information on who stabbed him. No information on what Kotomine did after he was stabbed. Just dead.
みんな元気かな
Hi, Taiga.
人間誰しも怖いことは嫌だよねだからちょっとひよっただけなのに何の因果か地獄の虜
Well,
No, not straight to hell. He got to go home
We
first.
went home first, yeah.
気がつけば騙し討ちされているあなたを慰める Q&A コーナータイガー道場の時間です
What's the combat in the
ただいま屋敷
background?
ではセーバーちゃんとランサーが戦って
Oh,
おります
Saber and Lancer are fighting.
弟子1号はとっ捕まったみたいだしシローは庭で死んでるしもうこの屋敷の風紀はどうなっているのか
Yeah, okay. There's a question. Saber and Lancer were fighting. Ilya got kidnapped by somebody. Kotomine was standing in front of us. Who stabbed us in the back? We were stabbed in the heart from behind by something. Lancer was busy dealing with Saber. Kotomine was standing in front of us, so he couldn't have done it. And somebody was busy kidnapping Ilya.
So, I would like to assume it was Gil. Just,
Yeah, but there wasn't enough gloating.
well, his pride got hurt. So, you know, just kill, get it over with. But theoretically, it could be Lancer's master, but that doesn't feel correct.
Yeah, Gil would be laughing. Gil would absolutely be, like, laughing his ass off.
It's not Tosaka. She's at her house. And she'd also probably laugh. Given how much I identify with Tosaka, she'd probably also be laughing if she was sudden and inevitable betraying him.
Also, Gil wouldn't have been satisfied with just stabbing him through the heart. He would have done it in massive overkill fashion. When has that man ever done anything that wasn't massive overkill?
昨今の若者はルールがなっていなくてお姉ちゃん悲しいな
I mean, I'm still suspicious of student council president, man.
Poor Issei.
I still don't trust him. So you know what? That's my current bet.
You'll never remember this if we eventually get to Heavensfield, but there's a point in Heavensfield where Shiro demands the man strip because he's checking him for command spells. It's great.
さてクライマックスを直前にしてデッドしちゃった君
Well, that's honestly Kotomine's fault, probably.
君子危うきに近寄らずはいい言葉だけど世の中避けてばかりじゃゴールにはたどり着けないのだ選択肢に戻って自爆覚悟で境界の
Wait,
闇
that
に
was
挑むべし
UBW? Oh. My bad, it's in UBW.
物語は本当にクライマックス直前長かった夜ももうじと
Could have been
立てよう
Taiga.
としていますセーバーちゃんの願いは果たされるのかシローが隠し持つ心の歪そして立ちはだかる次回最終話ここまで来たらノンブレーキでエンディングまで駆け抜けちゃってほしいな
Yeah, you head straight for that ending. Yeah, you have a slight problem with that. We don't have enough saber points. Anyway, to the basement! I step into the darkness. It's a room made of stone. The lights are out, but the room itself feels like it's alive, and a faint blue light suffuses the whole place.
地下の聖堂
No dust or cobwebs anywhere. Looks like the place sees a lot of use. I'm not sure how far back it goes. I look back up the stairs I just came down. The staircase hugs a curved wall. After descending the curved stairs, I look up and see the entrance is about 10 meters above me now. Maybe it's the absence of light? But the gently curving staircase puts me in mind of a centipede crawling its way through the cathedral. And then I notice a door. It's right at the bottom of the stairs. There's a symbol on the wall. Beyond it, a deep darkness beckons me. Almost as if it were drawing me in, I find myself stepping into the darkness. I step through what seems like an entrance of some kind. It's damp. The floor is all slimy. It's hard to walk. It reminds me of when I was cleaning the school pool. Moss covers the entire floor, and it feels like my feet are sinking to the ankles into some kind of rot covering the floor. How bad was your school pool, my guy? I stop suddenly. The nasty sensation beneath my feet is bad enough, but now there's a horrible stench. I pinch my nose shut. This isn't some temporary odor, it's permeated the whole room. It doesn't smell like fish. Or gunpowder. Why would you know what either of those things... Why would you know what gunpowder smells
I was
like?
about to say, most people know what fish smells like.
It smells like formaldehyde. Why do you know what that smells like?
I know what that smells like. I can't forget after that stupid asshole in my bio class put a frog liver in my hair, and I screamed bloody goddamn murder. The science wing. I don't think I'll ever forget what formaldehyde smells like.
The chemical reek of it is stagnated in the room like thick mud. My senses seem to have been numbed from the moment I got into the basement. I'm long past tension and nervousness. And yet, my heart expands and contracts without a break, and my limbs are moving so weirdly it feels like I might wrench out every nerve in my body. And what's worse, my eyes have grown accustomed to the darkness. The darkness fades. I hear drops of water falling. It's almost like that serves as the starting bell. What I couldn't see before is suddenly clear. What I see is an all too familiar living hell. Death lined up all in a row. Debris is piled everywhere. The stench of death covered by antiseptics. I thought this was all a lie. I want to believe none of this is real. But I can't deceive myself. I can tell in an instant. Even in a room so full of corpses, not one of the bodies here is truly dead. They're all alive. These corpses, they can only be called corpses, however human they once were, are all alive. Why are they still alive? How are they still alive? I look over each and every body. Not one of them has retained their original form. Imagining what happened to every one of these sacrilegious forms is just too terrifying. They're more like the husks of dead trees than corpses.
Hello, Gilgamesh's energy supply for the last decade.
I told you no children were killed. in the supply, in the maintenance of Gilgamesh.
Yeah, no, instead they've just been literally torturing and repeatedly draining the other victims of the fire.
Uh-huh. Yep. You remembered that the church took all of the children that weren't named Shiro.
Uh-huh. I sure did.
Yeah, there they are.
Yeah, that's what I figured it was when I saw the body described as still being alive but looking like a corpse. And look, it's a little mock hospital ward, complete with all the antiseptics and everything.
Yep. You see why everybody thinks Kirai's kind of a jackass now. Some have been...
I mean, to be fair, the second that I realized he was working with Blondie and realized Blondie was from the last war and that no one ever really checked in on the children.
The church checked in on the children.
Yeah. Please see my immediate skepticism. Now, mind you, I didn't assume they were just repeatedly draining the same orphans. I just assumed that, well, orphans and adults badly burned by the thing. But I just assumed that the church was just getting new orphans anytime something bad happened and then just feeding those orphans to Blondie.
Same ones for 10 years. Some have been broken down to the point that their flesh has seeped into the cracks of the stone pavement.
So, objectively, all things considered, I actually thought Priestman and Blondie were worse than they are.
Honestly, that would have been kinder. To just kill them and get new ones. No.
But it'd be more bodies. It's sort of a trolley problem, because this way there's only a set number of victims. Whereas, yes, they've been exposed to a lot, but it's only a small handful of dead, as opposed to, you know, Blondie routinely murdering many people to maintain his life. He's just repeatedly not quite murdering these people.
Some are hung against the wall and are little more than nests for bugs. Whatever their arrangement, these figures have only torsos and heads, and even those are pitifully ragged. I didn't even need to know why. The corpses are being eaten away in their coffins. I don't know how it works. Each corpse is welded into a coffin, and the coffin sucks the nutrients from them. The flow of life. The coffin is extracting magical energy. Souls. Little by little, the coffins suck the life out of its prey in such a precise amount that it neither kills it nor allows it to truly live. The wind moans through the chamber. It's almost like a single scream from the mouths of every corpse here. Their throats have long since decayed, so they can't scream for themselves anymore. By now, their throats only barely serve to carry air to their lungs. But still, the corpses scream. All but inaudible, they scream. They must be in terrible pain, and so very afraid. They continue to shriek, unable to accept that their bodies are being eaten alive as they gradually lose their shape. One of them's a berserker. I hear a creaking sound. The coffin in front of me gurgles. It's oozing. The corpse's head is turned toward me. Something falls out of it. Its swollen lips move slightly. In a voice that isn't a voice, it asks, "Where am I?" That's what it wants to know. I'm about to scream. No, I can't even scream anymore. Where am I? It didn't say it was in pain, didn't ask for help, just wanted to know what this horrible place is. I'm trying to understand. Did that child find themselves in the state when they came to. Before this, they must have lived a normal life, slept normally, but one day they woke up and found themselves here. The question must have come from the hope that this is just a bad dream, being trapped in a coffin, unable to move, their limbs rotting. My heart's breaking. This is so unimaginably horrible. But why? Why do they seem so strangely familiar? I've never seen any of them, but I recognize every one of the corpses. This is my first time here. I shouldn't know any of them. None of them are connected to me, so why do they act like they know me? Just like how I know them. Why are they staring at me? And I have another question. Each of them shares something in common, unless that's just a coincidence. Why do all of these corpses look like children of the same age? And then...
いや、よく来てくれたエミヤシロ。
It comes out of nowhere. A hand claps my shoulder from behind. The voice is friendly, like a greeting from a close friend. I go completely stiff with shock. I can't even turn around. Only, I don't have to turn to see who's behind me. Kirei Kotomine. This church's priest, the man responsible for this little piece of hell. And the devil, the last person I should have run into right now.
全く間が悪い。そろそろお前が来る頃だと思ってな。食事の準備をしに行ったのがまずかった。そうだ、前回はろくなもてなしができなかっただろう。私なりに気を使ったのだが、入れ違いになってしまったか。
I tried to make you dinner at 2 in the afternoon. Can't say anything. The priest's hands rest heavily on my shoulders.
だが、不法侵入は感心しないな。そのようなことをすると、見なければいいものを見てしまう羽目になる。例えば、そう、お互いの関係を白紙に戻さざるを得ない真実を知ってしまうとか。
The priest sounds more cheerful than I've ever heard. As Kotomine stands there behind me, hands on my shoulders, I can tell he's smiling. It's indescribably terrifying.
どうしたエミヤシロ。話をしに来たのだろう。黙っていては意味がないぞ。拍子抜けだな。それほどこの光景は機械かね。
He sounds so cheerful, even when he's saying such horrible things. Does this man not feel anything in the face of this horror? Why should he? He's lived with it for 10 years. Do I even need to comment on how horrible this is?
なんだ、それは冷たいな。お前にとっては不快でも、そんなことはないと言ってやるのが情けだろう。そもそも、彼らとお前は兄弟のようなものだ。お前がそのような態度では、彼らも救われないと思うのだが。
What did he just say? And so happily.
お前、今、なんて。
この死体たちとお前は仲間だったと言ったの。
Or at least they could have been if your asshole of a father had saved anyone other than you.
形はどうあれ、お前たちはあの地獄から生還した者たちだ。血肉のつながりはなくとも、 その絆は兄弟のそれに近いと思うのだが。
You're all the ones that didn't manage to burn to death. It was a kinder fate. So that's why I thought I recognized them. This is a continuation of what happened 10 years ago. I'm back in that hospital room. My head is spinning. Children who've lost their homes and parents. They were sent to an orphanage until they were adopted. But before that happened to me, Hiritsugu Emiya adopted me, so I never knew what happened to those kids afterward. I'd actually avoided finding out. The orphanage was at the church on top of the hill, and I could have gone there any time if I'd wanted to. But I held back. I felt it wasn't fair for me, who did get adopted, to go visit the children who still hadn't been. That's why I decided that if I were to meet them, it would have to be in town. We'd just bump into each other, chat idly to catch up, and most importantly, have gotten over the fire and hell. As small as our town is, I always dreamed of a reunion like that, but it never happened.
そうだ、エミヤシロ。エミヤキリツグに引き取られていなければ、お前も彼らの一員となっていた。わかるか？お前はまたも一人だけで助かったのだ。周りの誰もが平等に死んでいくというのに、お前だけが輪を乱して生き延びた。どうかね。自分自身大した不平等だとは思わないか。
My heart starts beating again. I'd been frozen stiff a moment ago, but suddenly I'm able to move.
いや、私は責めているわけではないぞ。むしろお前のそれは喜ばしい。エミやシロの生き延びる才能は大したものだ。だからこそ、最後はこうして兄弟たちに再会させてやったのだ。お前は本当に運がいい。ここは今日限りで閉める予定だったのだが、ギリギリで間に合ったな。今まで10年間、サーバントの餌にするために彼らを生かし続けたが、それも終わりだ。やり始めた時ほどの濃い魂の摘出は望めぬし、もはや餌の必要もない。あとはお前とお前のサーバントを仕留めるだけになったのだからな。てめえ！
Those words shatter the restraints that have been holding me still. I move my paralyzed body. Pushing clear of the hands of my shoulders, I leap forward and whirl around to face the priest.
ことみね、お前が。
As I face him, I put distance between us. In that moment, I feel a powerful impact from behind. That's weird. I can't breathe. Something sharp protrudes from my chest. Looks like the head of a spear.
Who was Kotomine's servant in the last war?
If I remember right, he had assassin in the last war.
So, a servant that, say, might stab something through your chest from behind you without saying anything?
It's a theory if there hadn't only been 2 servants left at the end of the last war.
I mean, sure. But simultaneously, Kotomine's already cheating. He could just be cheating more. Cheating harder.
That can't be. How could a spear be growing out of my chest?
Always an idiot.
ああ、そういえば言っていなかった。 改めて紹介しよう。
Uh-huh.
彼が私のサーバントだ。
Uh-huh. Continue.
I turn around. There, I see a blue-colored spearman, his weapon thrust through my chest.
Yeah, that tracks.
Lancer did basically indicate way back when that his master was like the worst person ever.
Yeah, he did. Still doesn't explain why, how he was fighting Saber and killing Shiro at the same time.
No, it does not.
That still doesn't track.
No, it does not. And it's an inconsistency that's fucking never addressed.
Because that had been my first thought when Shiro
It's the
had died to
sensible
his
thought,
spear
right? Was, oh, yeah,
to the heart
right.
was, oh,
Lancer,
Lancer and
right,
Gabolg. Got
right.
it.
And then Taiga's like, oh yeah, Lancer's fighting Saber. Uh-huh, yeah. No, it's just an inconsistency that's just not addressed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I had another thought, which was just that that if Lancer wasn't Kodomine's servant, right? That that maybe Caster just summoned Guard McGateboy Man, because there's technically no rule saying servants can't also summon things if they've got the magic to do it.
Oh no, there's absolutely a rule against that.
Why would she care? Caster
Fair.
clearly didn't care about rules because she stole Shiro's command seals for herself.
Yeah,
so.
that's fair.
So, a part of me had been wondering if maybe Kodomine had summoned the actual assassin for this Grell War, and that Caster had just summoned her own servant. Could.
No, see, Kodomina's got a Lancer, as it turns out. Anyway, Haiku, how you doing? He jerks it free. Ah, I needed that in there to keep me breathing! At the same time, a searing, intense pain rocks my entire body.
See, and that theory about assassin I'd kind of been sitting on for a couple weeks anyway. Because Caster disappears and suddenly people are Caster gets killed and suddenly people are dropping statements like, oh, yeah, no, assassin, he's just gone
Well,
now.
Caster was the one that told us that Assassin had died.
So who better to tell you that their servant's gone than a servant's master?
Red splatters the floor. I collapse onto the slimy, mossy ground. I try to push myself to my feet, but my body's too heavy. I can't move.
There are lots of messages redacted that I'm seeing on your screen. This is why I've stopped reading chat tonight. With all my wild speculations.
I think it was
Reading chat's
people
dangerous.
jumping the Lancer gun early. While I may not be paralyzed anymore, my body isn't capable of moving for entirely different reasons now. The pain in my chest is unbelievable, blotting out the blood loss and dimming vision.
I read as far in something as we don't find this out till Hollow Ataraxia and then stopped reading.
Yeah. I can't pass out. You want to bet about that? I've sustained fatal wounds numerous times. They were all bad. They all numbed my senses. But this is different.
Well, yeah, because your heart's now on a pointy stick outside of your chest.
It's a fatal wound for sure, but the pain is just too intense. My vision distorts. The instant I pass out from pain, more pain jolts me back awake. So that's useful. I can't feel my limbs. I can't even tell where I am anymore.
Oh, you have that with your siblings now.
Where am I? The only things I feel are vomit-inducing pain and the temptation to just disappear to escape the agony.
Yeah, so much in common with your siblings.
殺してはいないだろうな、ナンサ。それでは今まで残していた甲斐がない。
I can only hear voices. My eyes are open, but I can't see anything.
命令は守るさ。たとえそれがいけすかねえものでもな。
Lancer's voice is devoid of emotion, but I can barely hear him.
よろしい。では支度をするぞ、ランサー。マスターの窮地はサーバントに伝わる。セーバーが到着するまでおよそ半時というところか。
琴峰、このガキそこまでは持たねえよ。死なせたくねえんなら血止めぐらいはしとけ。
不要だ。死ぬのならそれで構わん。
My mind is fading. The pain finally becomes too much, and my mind lets me faint.
That doesn't sound like fainting.
I stop the pain by digging into my wound.
That really doesn't sound like fainting. He's bad at fainting, you know?
The pain resumes. I'm on the verge of sinking into oblivion, only to be dragged into a world of searing pain.
That you inflicted! What the fuck is wrong with you?
He doesn't want to pass out. I want to die. If this pain isn't going to stop, I want to die now, please. I know that. I know, but if I fade here, I know I'm never going to wake up. Which is fine, because I want to die. I can't even remember what I'm doing. I feel like I'm just drifting through white-hot pain that'll burn me to nothing. I grit my teeth, trying to endure the pain and trying to cling to my own fading awareness. I can't end it all here. I can't let myself drop out of the war so easily. There's still a promise I haven't fulfilled yet. If I believe she's the most important person in my world, I can't just disappear here. Meanwhile, elsewhere. Dressers. When she awakes, there's no sign of Shiro. She makes her way to the living room, thinking he might be preparing a late lunch, but she finds no sign of either Shiro or lunch. Then she realizes she didn't actually change clothes and is still wearing her nightie and leaves before Rin shows up.
また一人で出歩いて出かけるのなら声をかけてと言ったのにどうしてシロは人の話を聞かないのか
When has Shiro ever listened to you? Saber sits on the veranda muttering to herself.
まったく一人で出歩くのが好きなのはわかりますがこれでは協力している意味がないではありませんか
Saber lets her feet dangle over the veranda. Eventually, she grows tired of this and she looks up pensively. The sky is an ashen gray.
Filled with clouds that immediately make her sleepy.
She passes out. A heavy canopy of clouds slowly drifts overhead. She can see breaks in the cloud cover in the distance. It should be clear by nightfall. If the stars are visible, she'd be able to read her fortune for tomorrow. She still remembers how to read the stars. Her mage mentor taught her long, long ago. In life, she only looked there to see whether she was taking the right path, but tonight, just this once, she decides to try to predict a certain someone's future. Green? If possible, she hopes for a bright tomorrow. She wants to predict any dangers that might lie ahead and learn what she needs to guide him in the proper direction. He's so reckless. How can she not worry about him? She won't sleep peacefully unless she can at least read the stars.
さて、問題はこの町から観測できる星の位置ですが。
As she thinks back, she realizes she's not once looked up at the sky before today.
Shouldn't I be the one reading right now? Passive female voice? Her priority's always been winning the Holy Grail War, not reading fortunes in the stars. She knows this isn't like her. Even so, she still considers trying to read the stars and anxiously waits for night to come. This represents quite a change of heart for her. She chuckles, thinking she's just like the girls in love she's read about in books before, as she looks up at the night sky, or up at the sky. It's still 1 in the afternoon, Willow.
ああ、セイバー。
Hi, Irene!
シロがどこに行ったか知らない？
Green, how come you're not wearing your school uniform?
リン、
Saber bolts upright.
なんでしょう。私は別にシロの軍門に下ったわけではありませんが。
Saber gives a hasty excuse, blushing deeply.
Don't ask why I'm wearing a nightie.
あれ？もしかしてお邪魔だった？
Reen smiles wickedly. Perhaps it's because they've been living under the same roof, but Reen can read Saber like a book. Shiro, too, for that matter. She has good instincts when it comes to other people's affairs, and she can tell there's something between the two of them. And so she has a pretty clear idea of what happened the night before.
まあ、
Shiro
から
got
かうの
aroused
は
by
後にしてお
Saber's
い
toes.
て、冗談抜きでシロを知らない？イリアの熱が上がってるみたいだから、ちょっと手伝ってもらおうと思ったんだけど。イリアスフィールが？彼女の容体は落ち着いたのではないのですか？それがどうにもね。シロには黙ってたけど、あの子そろそろ限界よ。聖杯戦争っていう儀式が終わらない限り、元には戻らない。あの子のキャパは破格だけど、それでももういっぱいなの。
Definitely the growl. Still not sure what I'm missing in that, but definitely the growl.
今はまだ
And
かろう
Reen
じて
knows
容
it
量が空いてい
too.
るから余分な機能が働いている。けど満ちてしまえば一番不要な人間としての機能を捨てるしかない。イリアスフィールはね、聖杯戦争が進めば進むほど壊れていくように作られているのよ。
Yeah. Not human, containing growl. So far, I'm not seeing anywhere where I was wrong.
Reen's words are ominous and even a bit obfuscating. Saber doesn't completely understand what she's talking about.
ああ、いいのよ。今のはわからないように言ったんだから。イリアのことは置いておきましょう。それよりランサーのことだけどね。あいつのマスター誰だか分かったんだけど。ランサーのマスターが判明したのですか？うん、まあ分かったっていうか、前から分かってたっていうか。実はね、ランサーのマスターは魔術協会から派遣された外来のマスターなのよ。それ自体はとっくに分かってて、ついさっきそいつのねぐらを見つけてきたんだけど。
Last second Tosaka get it wrong?
Give it a sec.
そのような危険なことは避けるべきです。敵の陣地が分かったのなら私に言ってくれればいい。私だってそのつもりだったわよ。けどさ、外から様子を探ってたらどうもおかしいのよ。で、留守っぽいなって中に入ってみたら、あったのは血の跡とレイジュが亡くなった左腕だった。
Oh, you're going around stealing servants, Kotomine.
Yeah. So Lancer was originally summoned by this Mages Association person, and then Kodamine just kind of shanked them in the back and stole their servant and their command spells. After she went to all the trouble of Catalyst summoning Lancer. Intentionally getting Kukulin.
それ以外は何もなかった。体ごと霊児を奪われ、しかもあの出血量じゃ生存は絶望的でしょうね。ランサーのマスターはとっくにやられてたのよ。ではランサーはすでにいないのですか？10日前シロを襲った後に他のサーバントに倒されたと。
Unlikely.
だったらいいんだけどね。結婚はもっと前のものだった。これどういうことかわかる？サーバントを倒さず先にマスターを倒した。そうしてマスターから霊樹を奪いランサーと契約したマスターがいるというですが、残っているマスターは私とシロだけでしょ。けどランサーはまだ残っている。
Well, Ilya's still here.
But she's also kind of out of play at the moment.
Doesn't make her not a master.
No, but again, I fail to see how her family thought making her the master for the Grail War was a good idea. When the longer the Grail War goes on, the more this she becomes.
Yeah, but as long as she still has command spells, Heracles can continue to basically just be Heracles. And who the hell's gonna beat Heracles?
ってことはマスターじゃない魔術師が霊樹を奪ってマスターになってるってことだけど、セイバー、そういうのってできるものなの？いいえ、霊樹の移植はマスターかサーバント、そのどちらかによるものだけです。いかに優れた魔術師といえど霊樹を奪ったところでマスターにはなれません。
I'm still not sure that's true.
Well, if one had been a master.
No. I'm talking about what's his face McArchery douche bro. Because his were in a book. I'm still 98% positive he stole Medusa from somebody. I'm just not entirely sure who. I mean, I have a theory, but it's dumb, and that probably means it's correct. But my crazier, stupider, dumber theories tend to be right in this game, but...
そう。じゃあもう一つ。マスターっていうのはさ、聖杯が消えてなくなっても霊樹が残っていて、かつサーバントさえ残っていればいつまでもマスターなの？そうですね。リンの言う通りです。霊樹とサーバントさえ残っていれば聖杯戦争が終わったとしてもその魔術師はマスターとしての権利を。
Saber falls silent as she realizes what Reen is really asking.
ではリンはランサーのマスターを殺しランサーと再契約。ええ、それ以外ないと思う。そう思うとランサーの行動にも納得がいくのよ。あいつさ、他のサーバントの様子を探るのが役割みたいだったじゃない。戦えば自分の正体を明かしてしまうっていうのに、あいつは自分の正体を隠すでもなく他のサーバントにちょっかい出してた。それってつまりあいつは諜報専門だったってことでしょ？同感です。私と戦った時も彼は最後まで戦わなかった。宝具を使った以上見せた相手は倒すのが私たちの定石だというのに。そうだからランサーのマスターにはもう一人サーバントがいたのよ。ランサーに敵の正体を探らせておいて その後に正体不明の戦闘性用のサーバントをぶつける。これって必勝法でしょ。まあランサーにしてみればいい迷惑だったろうけど、6人のサーバント全員と戦ってその手口を調べ上げた上で主の元に帰るんだから、6人全てと引き分けなんてある意味とんでもないやつよね、あいつ。
Green closes her mouth, lost in thought. As if following Reen, Saber suddenly feels a chill down her spine. Lancer's master has already been killed. Rip. This unidentified master uses a heroic spirit as strong as Lancer solely for espionage. And, just as that master seems to have expected, the only remaining servants are Lancer and Saber. If they face such a powerful enemy, then letting Shiro run out on his own is dangerous. Even during the day, there were multiple enemies before, but now there aren't many more enemies to defeat. If Shiro's the only one left to defeat, the enemy might not follow their earlier strategy.
リン、シロはどこに行ったのか知りませんか？
Now that she's had the thought, she can't stop worrying. Shiro cannot be left alone. Even now, her master may be in grave danger.
どうだろう。知らないから聞いたんだけど、もしかしたら綺麗なとこかな。あいつ、この間も綺麗なんかに相談しに行ったんだし。あの教会に？ん？何をセイバー、怖い顔して。ことみ、いえ、そういうわけではないのですが。
That church is nothing but holy. Huh? It's nothing but holy.
Correct.
Stagnant death and stagnant air linger in that place, on par with Ryudo Temple. The moment she thinks Shiro might be in a place like that alone. I think they meant it's anything but holy. An image of somewhere other than the Emiya house flashes through her mind. She stares into the distance, toward Kotomine's church on top of the hill. There's no time to delay. Saber leaps out into the yard and jumps onto the wall.
ちょっとセイバー、いきなり何よ。教会に向かいます。後のことは任せました、リン。
Without looking back at Reen, Saber jumps off the wall. She moves with all the speed of a bullet fired from a gun. She neither slows nor stops on her way to her destination. If anyone caught sight of her, she would look like nothing more than a gust of wind, a streak of silver and blue. The instant she reaches the top of the hill and catches sight of the enemy's territory, Saber armors herself.
Oh, we're overtime.
Two down, I believe, is the start of day 15. Yeah. There we go. So we are rapidly approaching the gigantic mess that is the finale of the game. We've got what I believe is a forced death coming. On account of we don't have enough saber points to not die. So that's a problem.
That sounds like a distinctly you problem, you know.
And then we get to a bit where there's a choice point, and then a choice point, and then that second choice point can lead us to the same death in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different ways.
Delightful.
So that's fun. But outside of that, it's literally just go to the end. So we're getting there. It's approaching the finale. Probably another few weeks. Probably.
Why can't it just be over?
I don't know, because we stop and talk about Buffy or Charmed for like extended periods of time.
We stayed relatively on task tonight. By our standards, we stayed very on task.
I'll have to probably either this week or next week. I'll have to get the action going for Engage so we can figure out what our team is going to be. I have to remember how many units we can take to the final thing, because that's a question. You know, all good. So, that's a next week problem for us. Until then, Willow doesn't want to end stream tonight.
Oh, sorry. Okay, catch you guys next time. I was reading chat.